The following opinions are solely those of BoatTEST.com and its test captain.
Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTEST.com, and today we're going to conduct a sea trial of a new yacht from Vicem, the 46 IPS. As the name implies, she's IPS-powered and easy to operate, making her well-suited as a comfortable coastal cruiser. We'll begin by getting right underway, and to start the 46 IPS, we first power up the ignition system, and then we can activate and start both engines. The Vicem 46 IPS has a length overall of 46 feet, a beam of 14 feet 9 inches, and a draft of 2 feet 4 inches. With an empty weight of 34,998 pounds, 40% fuel, and 5 people on board, we had an estimated test weight of 37,523 pounds. With the twin 435 horsepower Volvo Penta IPS 600 spooled up to 3,400 RPM, our speed maxed out at a comfortable 24.6 knots. Now, truth be told, we did notice that the tack split as the RPMs got over 3,000. The port engine wasn't producing full power, and we suspected a filter change might be in order. That notwithstanding, best economic cruise came in at 3,000 RPM and 20.3 knots. But just barely, as the 25 gallon per hour fuel burn translated into 0.8 nautical miles per gallon and a range of just over 366 nautical miles, while any setting on down to 2250 maintained that 0.8 nautical mile per gallon economy. So basically, set the speed for the prevailing conditions. But as is typical of a coastal cruiser, slower is always better, and backed off to 50 knots or so gave her a steady feel and the definite look of a Downeaster cruiser. As for her handling, it can only be described as sedate. No amount of heavy-handedness will have guests scrambling for safety, as she makes a wide sweeping turn characteristic of IPS drives. At full speed, she'll come around 360 degrees in 1 minute 10 seconds and an estimated 5 boat lengths. She took our 1-foot chop quite sedately, with the best of her handling being on the beam or following seas. Head-on, she had a marginal hull slap, but only at the upper end of the speed curve. We only took spray when making a concentrated effort to do so, and she steers with a light touch on the helm. She does have a bit of a bow rise in her acceleration curve until about 20 knots, and the design team is countering that by moving the water and fuel further ahead after this hull number 1. I do like how the rails curve upwards so that at all speeds you're looking through those high rails as opposed to having them block the vision from the helm. And clearly Vicem's dedication to finish work is not limited to the interior. Docking was also a non-event, as the joystick functionality of the pod drives made short work of even our crosswind docking with a fast-moving current also trying to shake things up. Of course, the 46 IPS was having none of it, as we managed to execute a precision docking with no problem. It was made even easier with the full-length visibility afforded by the opening side door and its proximity to the joystick. It also made it easy to tie the 46 up single-handed, or here as I simply hand a breast line off that was secured to the midship cleat. For a portside docking, we can also look out the hull side window at the galley. So now that we're tied up, let's look over some of her operational features. The helm is stunning, with the glass dash concept focusing on twin multifunction displays at the top of the console. Wood trim surrounds the aluminum and silk-screened panels with faux wood laminate, giving a maintenance-free appeal to the good looks that the console displays. The lower panel is dedicated to switching and controls. To the left are rocker switches with indicator lights to show when active. Below is the spotlight remote. Moving to the right, at the top are breaker switches. The ignitions are below, and at the bottom are the trim tab rockers. At the center are 3 gauges giving readings at a glance of freshwater, fuel, and blackwater levels. The rest of the gauges are embedded into the touchscreens above. Additional breakers are to the right, and below those are the IPS joystick and Volvo Penta digital engine controls with their attendant options. Further below is the VHF. The steering wheel is mounted to a tilt base. I'd like to see heat and AC vents to the sides, but we do have opening hatches above, along with the opening side door that allows plenty of air through the entire deck. Visibility-wise, the mullions are fairly wide, and we'd recommend sliding the curtains off and stowing them when operating. A raised platform is 5 inches off the deck and aids us vertically challenged operators. A brow extends from the overhead to shade the windshield and reduce glare at the helm. And here's a thoughtful touch. This small shelf includes power outlets, USB, and MP3 connectivity alongside. The seat is a 39-inch wide bench with a single cushion that we'd like to see wrap around down the front side. Individual flip-down footrests are a welcome addition. Beverage holders are wood. Storage is under the cushion and in 2 drawers to the side. The engine room is accessed from a hatch in the aft deck. Steps lead directly between the 2 engines. Inside are the twin 435 horsepower Volvo Penta IPS 600s. We have easy access to all sides of the engines. Pod drives are connected directly to the engines, making them equally easy to access. Everything is labeled well and there's virtually zero clutter of the components. The single fuel tank is forward with a sight gauge showing the level. Filters are mounted directly to the tank. The main breaker panel is down below in the galley, 12 volts to the left, 110/220 to the right. The shore power cord extends from the transom and the control switch is right alongside. In the aft quarters are the cleats mounted to teak blocks and rollers are corner mounted. There are no real steps to the side decks, but we either remove the cushions or step right on them. A grab handle is conveniently located. At the stern, the width is 14 inches with a rail height of 18 inches. A mahogany grab rail is fixed to the top of the cabin. I'd rather see one along the side of the cabin to be easier to reach. At midships, the width of the deck opens up to 22 inches with rail height increasing to 24 inches. Midship cleats are blending into a void section in the tow rails, and look at these varnished mahogany tow rails and notice the formed mounts to the rails as they join the mahogany and teak deck. Fully forward, the rail height increases to 32 inches. At the bow, 2 deck hatches are flanked by cleats with chocks integrated into the tow rails just ahead. The port hatch is where the windlass remote is located. The windlass itself is mounted atop the foredeck with the anchor roller just ahead, and it includes a chain stopper. Vicem went with a stainless steel plow anchor. Lastly, there's a convenient step between the windshields to access the overhead and the antennas for easy servicing. The 46 IPS clearly represents coastal cruising at its finest. She's a comfortable boat to handle, and inside she's got a fit and finish that rivals some of the best mega yachts we've seen, but that's another video. Be sure to look for it. For now, that's our sea trial of the 46 IPS from Vicem. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.